You are now listening to the Beats, Brews, and Life podcast.
Beats, Brews, and Life.
Let's talk about music, man. You are, all right, so this is, like, I like to give people the flowers while we can. As far as, like, Atlanta artists that I've actually, like, met and, like, just kind of been around, like, you're probably one of my favorite. And I think one of the reasons was, like, so we had we sat in on that little beat cipher on January the 1st, the first day of the year, 2020, right? Mm-hmm. And I got to go first, which was a blessing, first of all. Like, I went first, and people nodding their head, and I'm like, God, this is dope. And then Yamin went right after me. And I'm, like, hearing, like, these layers of shit, and I'm like, fuck. And I'm glad you went first. I'm glad I ain't have to go after that, right? But beyond that, like, you're also like a super talented MC. Like, what came first?
Well, rhyming, because equipment costs money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was more of like an exploratory thing with the rhymes. I didn't take it seriously. I didn't think I knew nobody. I wasn't from New York. I wasn't from Cali. So I just I just explored it quietly as kept. Honestly, my mom found my rhyme book, and I was like hot. You know what I'm saying? I was like, why you going through my shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that, but you know.
Yeah, right. I already know.
I was hot. I was, you know, but, you know, with time DJing, in 99, I started really DJing, had my own setup. And I started making beats that year when I met my big homies who became like my big brothers and crew, Vinyl Junkies. And they all from Cali, so I got my whole crash course and everything from like Freestyle Fellowship, you know what I'm saying, and even DITC in New York.
Nice, yeah.
I got all that tutelage from them, you know. And it's funny, like I moved to East Point in 97, 96, and Outkast had, you know, no, I moved in 94. I'm tripping. Not right when Southern Playlistic came out.
Oh, good.
So I'm like, what is East Point? Why am I moving here? Who are these guys? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't doing music yet, but the older I got, I realized that their influences were like Souls of Mischief.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff I was being ingrained with, dealing with the Vinyl Junkies when I was 15.
Right,
so it's just like,
Cali.
it's such a great, you know, full circle.
Right.
So that's basically the trajectory, though. It was like DJing beats, and then I said, okay, let me try rhyming over my beats, because I was like, the rhyme thing was done for me. I was like 9, 10, and I was just like, I got some bars, I'm not really feeling them.
Yeah.
So over time, it just became a thing with the MC and just tied everything together.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, I feel like it's all related. I think that, like, you gotta have an understanding of like each discipline. Like, as far as like to me, like, I think that the best producers like are also MCs.
The best producers are also MCs?
Well, maybe that's not true. Maybe that's not true.
I think the best producers are DJs. I will say that. And there's some producers who can't spin.
Yeah.
And it shows to me.
So what makes you feel that way? Like, why do you feel that way?
I can't put my finger always on it, but
Right.
I'd be like, okay, this group has this producer, but this DJ is spinning for this group, and the producer don't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like a knock. I literally can hear the difference when they don't cut nothing up, when they don't really, you know, it's just a different feel.
Right.
Like, you can hear the difference between. I can't compare because I ain't trying to, you know, shit on nobody.
Right.
You know, there's a reason why Premier and Pete Rock are like the vanguard.
Yeah.
Because they're DJs. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't have to discourage nobody else. I'm just saying there's a reason why we love them, and they get thrown in that GOAT hat a lot.
See, I guess, so because Pete Rock, first of all, Pete Rock and Premier, like, they are GOATs. Like, they're like two of the greatest. But like, I guess I wonder sometimes, because like for me, I started as an MC, and then when I started, like, the reason why I started producing is because like I wanted these things that were tailored to, like, I wanted the creative process to never end. Right? I didn't want your beat as is. No disrespect.
I hear you. Yeah.
Like, I wanted it to be this living thing, and like even in mixing and even in engineering, I wanted it to be this living thing. True. And I feel like people who write rhymes and like have an understanding of 16s and care about all of that, like, you're gonna make your beats like to emphasize words. You're gonna you're gonna emphasize feelings. It's not just a beat. And like, that's what I've always been like attracted to, like in music,
Because it makes it less of an assembly line type of thing.
Yeah. You okay?
I'm not used to wearing that hat no more. I just like bend down.
Yeah, that was good. That was classic. I saw it from the corner. I'm like, yo.
Word.
But what were we just saying?
We were talking about how sometimes like producers who are also artists have like these ideas and like making this living, breathing thing and not just a beat. It's not a beat.
It don't sound. Yeah, exactly. It's not like everything is mixed at a point. Like the making, I can't even talk. To get the assembly line feeling, that's what you would get if everybody just kind of sent you an MP3, mailed it to you, you rap on top of it, you send it back. You know what I mean? I feel you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even when I'm writing rhymes, I might want to throw a scratch in one of my verses.
Right.
I can do that. I don't got to call nobody.
Exactly.
You know, if I want to, anything, you know, if I want to sample myself saying something and scratch that.
Yeah, the creativity is way more far. It's way wider open.
No doubt.
I'd say, right?
Yeah,
So,
and it's something to be said when you can do that type of stuff in a group.
Right.
Because somebody was like willing to hear somebody's idea about, yo, instead of you saying that, why don't I say that? Or why don't somebody cut this part? Why don't we, you know, change the beat right here when you say that because you're talking about this? You know, it's cool when it's one person doing it.
Right.
But when it's like a gang of heads doing it, it forms like one, you know, unit.
nah, that's good collaborative energy,
Yeah,
and
no
it's
doubt.
not like that. It doesn't exist with everybody,
Not
unfortunately,
everywhere,
right?
but see, as a soloist, when you know, you talking about MCs and producers, how they share the same body, basically.
Yeah.
Like when you can come off and sound like as dope as a group by yourself, you know, there's certain people who can do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? To me, like certain artists, and they be like, "Damn, that's dope." And like Wayne said, "I am a group." You know what I'm saying? I always love that line.
word,
Like,
yeah.
it wasn't even the most complex one, but I just rock with that line. You know,
Right.
I might chop that into something and be like,
I'm not even mad at it, bro. I'm not. Did you? Oh no, my bad. Go ahead, B.
So how long have you been at this now?
Since like 99, man. Since I was in high school still, and yeah, that's when it all kind of became a thing I would leave the house to do. Because before I started DJing at like 15, basically, yeah. But when I started getting out the crib, it wasn't even that long after. But that's when I just considered it to be a real thing.
Nice.
And I started high school like a little bit before that. So like, you know, from freestyling in the hallways and to actually DJing events at school.
Right.
I was like, okay, I can make some money from this, and I took I had my own setup, you know what I mean,
Nice,
coffins and all that. That's when I look at it like, yeah, the ship can go, the ship
Yeah.
can float.
Right.
You know, I can go somewhere from there.
Now it's not a hobby. It's not this is a thing. Like this is actually becoming.
Right.
Yeah, it's good, man. And I got other, you know, like now it's like for a couple years I was just 100% making music and living off of that.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to even say I did that for over a year or two. You know,
Yeah.
what I'm
Nice.
saying? Without anybody co-signing or you know any signatures getting signed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
was just like I had a plan. People respecting what I was doing in certain pockets, and I was able to freak it. And even doing engineering for other groups and music and
Nice, man.
doing scratches for other people, mastering. I've retired my whole engineer side of me.
Yeah.
I'm done, you know what I'm saying? So people want mixing and mastering. I'd be like, yo, I can't do it, man.
It's a lot of effort and a lot of time.
But it's a blessing to say, yo, I did this since like like as an engineer, I probably engineered for people since like 04. So about 15 years.
So you got some time, man. Like,
Yeah, and I learned from some great heads, man, people who really was already on it, got plaques on their walls, and I can let that part go just so I can still be able to be a fun, you know, artist, like get in my own world, not have to worry about deadlines with people, and, you know. Just,
right.
But it was fun. I'm glad I did. I learned a lot.